All right, so this might be a more abbreviated session than per usual. Normally, I go for around 2 hours, but because of the time, it might be we'll get some stuff done, and then we might call it. But I do want to play a little bit. I'm very excited about it. Continue. Okay, so this took me about 45 minutes to get back up to par. 30 to 45 minutes, I'd say, to catch up again. All of the checks are identical. The ones that I passed, I have repassed. The ones that I've failed, I have failed, with the exception of one. So there's one check that is done on the mural on the side of the wall there where like the guy and the kid is. And I think it's like it's a shivers check or something like that. It's an incredibly low roll. It's like 3% or whatever. So I just ran by it basically because it like to me I would need to level up that skill, or like something major would have to change anyway for me to win it. That's a change, and then there's one thing that happened at the end of the last stream, like the very last thing before it crashed, actually, was over here somewhere. I think it's actually maybe north of this area. There was a perception check, I think. Maybe it might have been a shivers check, actually. That basically said, like, gives us a whole bunch of information about the area. We kind of like look around and like shivers like gives us some knowledge on what's happening in our area. On this one, on this particular playthrough, I think because I was doing it really fast, I think it needs to be snowing based on the hint that you get from check. And it's because I did this so fast to try to catch up. It's not snowing basically, so it didn't proc. So in that case, that's the only other thing that is not the same. So that's full disclosure. Everything else is exactly the same. So, we have a save here. Very carefully it's saved here. And basically what had happened is I went to enter this room and the game crashed. So we'll do that now. Again, just checking this mainly because I don't know, we're on the search now for somebody hiding. So we gotta check every nook and or cranny. And all right, have a good dinner. Ooh, what is this? A bottle. Okay, so what are we doing? We're looking for traps and we're looking for the possible shooting locations. Go up to the top. We can't do a whole bunch of these things. Find someone, right? Yeah, all of this stuff ties into this junk down here. We checked Land's End, checked Island for bullet traces, Island and Boardwalk. Okay. And then additionally, we're checking for the traps. Boathouses west of the Feld building. Yep, that one we're doing last, along with the one you just set up. Check the trap near the canal you crossed. That's what we were doing. Okay, let's try to find that one. That would be over here, and I believe it's right by the front of this. I feel like I saw this on the run up. When we first came over. Oh, it's right here. I'm like literally about to walk over it.
A familiar apparatus lies among the reeds. Another one of Morel's traps, weighed down by stones to keep it in place.
Look around.
The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. You see slabs of concrete north. In the east, the city center hums to you. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again. Always the cold.
Reach for the trap.
This trap is also full of panicked locusts. No sign of any cryptozoological beast inside.
Another empty trap.
Oh, the next one's going to be the lucky one. Just like our lucky racist we had earlier. Are you enjoying the cardio, Lieutenant? I'm quite enjoying it myself.
Yep. The next one has a crab trapped in it. These are just crab traps, you do realize?
The reeds, the constant, distant.
Okay. Him, always the non-believer. Have we checked over here since... Not for a while. Okay. So here's the plan. So that's that one. We now only have 2 traps left that were the more recent ones. I am going to run over here to check the boardwalk. Oh, this is one thing I noticed when I was catching up. There's a person over here that I don't think I've ever talked to. So let's do that.
I'll just keep the Corda Lacey in the channel, if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier.
She winds the mooring line around a post. Well, that's why I never noticed, because it's Joyce. She must have just moved.
Aye, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course. Jetty. I prefer a good jetty to a pier any day. Jetty.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, detectives.
She fastens the end of the line around the post and straightens her back.
It's good to see you here. I only just arrived myself.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now, so I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That. And she's also keeping an eye on you.
Ooh, should we say that?
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here. Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the Cordelate red. Like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. White.
So how do you like it around here?
How do I like it?
She casts her gaze towards the village. Slush melting on the cinder blocks, construction work left half finished 10 years ago.
Water drips down eaves of Eternite. The jetty below her feet creaks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name, all the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there? I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will. You should ask your questions while you can.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests in her scabbard. A sword. The wind is too loud for her to hear.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
All right. Politics time. Let's react.
All right. The working class have no idea what's happening to them. This is just how the real city looks. I don't know what to say. I mean, we're these people are doing their thing over here. The real city.
Oh, I'm not frightened, officer. I'd never...
She leans against the railing, looking up at the gray sky.
Above you, there forms a quilt of altocumulus clouds, twisting into each other. The wind tugs and stretches them over the bay.
Getting a ton of shivers checks here because I think I have like +2 shivers right now because of the check that I was talking about before.
Their cloud shadows slide over the ruins of Revachol West. Wherever they pass, the temperature drops slightly, but perceptibly.
Have I told you how they discovered this place?
The wind picks up, her raincoat flaps in the gust. This island?
No, they're in Celindian, Isola.
What is an Isola?
I'm guessing you don't know then.
No, you haven't told me how they found it.
Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river. 50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty.
45% is around where I operate. Things are getting better. Oblivion, that's so mean.
I knew you would sympathize. Most Revacholians will never know what this place means. Our home. This island of matter. Or why they were ferried over in the first place. Remind me to tell you one day. For now, how can I assist you in this new location?
Tell me now, we have time.
Do we?
Doesn't look like it does.
I hear you have singled out a suspect and are in pursuit. This is cause for cautious optimism. I would not want to delay you.
I suppose you're right.
This story she will tell only before she leaves Martinez, at the very end of her stay.
Maybe there is something else I can assist you with, while you're hot in pursuit?
Okay. Good then. Very well. Interesting. Joyce is a cool character. I like her, sort of like... I don't know what she's kind of like, you know, cautiously helping you.
Waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Simmer down. Simmer down, bastards. Oh? Who? Really? A lot of stuff.
Nothing new there. I figured I'd check just because she came in here. Anything you want to reveal here?
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope that...
Okay, so somewhere on the boardwalk. Is this the boardwalk? This must be the boardwalk, right? There's supposed to be a... possible shooting location. That old power vibe, yeah. I think it's just kind of like a cool, I don't know what the word is. It's sort of like, I don't know. She's up to something, right? I like that in like the story. You kind of have to like kind of keep your, truly your wits about you. You get in here? Yeah, apparently we can. I don't know where this spot is. I wonder if... I mean, this isn't the boardwalk anymore, is it? Is the boardwalk maybe, like... Maybe I'm overthinking this, and this is, like, where the canal is? Let's check the map. Before I do something silly. I also think I have a level up that I have not used yet. Keep it in our back pocket here for now. Shout out Egghead. Church, Fisherman Shacks. Oh, the boardwalk's where the guy died, right? Like the... I've already forgotten his name, that's kind of sad. The working class woman's husband. Okay, yeah, I think that's where it is, so let's head over there. So that would be this direction. Oh, what do we have here?
Winter, slow to let go of Rivershore. Flecks some more wet snow from above.
Well, this might be the proc that we got on the last stream, but I did not get this time.
The snow falls lazily, making the beach sand paler still, mixing with the rust-colored sewage runoff. And to think, it seemed as though it were already spring.
Maybe not. How does it feel?
You're warm in your
Yes.
hat and your coat.
Okay,
Like
we
a-
did do this, so I'm going to rush
the
through
water-
this because we've
no,
already
below
done it.
Where the Philippian, yes, children under 14, after route 2, the more, how can it be pure if it's magenta? Snow falls, few, all around her. The canal, someone, like all, a fenced-off yard, a serpentine, the remain, further out, the lights burn. Then, the bay of, and at the farthest reach, the ray was once up, the pox is heavy drum, a line of around you. The snow continues to fall. The stairs, snow fall, All of this built, a chill comes over you.
I don't remember
Near,
this part though. Where's
snow
Ruby?
falls into dark water. She prays, though she doesn't believe. There is a hum in the air. That's all.
I'm in the air.
Layer upon layer of sand, poisoned with industrial runoff. The storm drainage, hidden bunkers. Rats scuttle. Someone stuffed a big old polar anorak into a concrete pipe under the boardwalk. It would keep you warm. You would probably never happen across it. But who knows?
We should keep moving. Who knows when the snow will let up.
Cool. Okay, it feels good that we got that finally. So yeah, if you're curious about any of that stuff, that was the end of the last playthrough we had. So the thought here is that there's something in this general region to inspect for the investigation as a possible spot where somebody took the shot on Quasia and our main
There's
murder. I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? The person who's murdered. Struggling with words. I don't see anything over here. The trash bin. It's not bringing anything up that's new. Just Kim out here, and that check that's down there is just the phone. But I guess we could try again. I guess is all of this the boardwalk?
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D.
Oh.
Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Okay. I did take this. I thought I skipped this one, but no, we took it. We failed it. So we're all back to normal now. All right. Well, that was what I thought would be our it's gonna be our boardwalk check. Alright, so there's traps there. We're gonna do those ones last. I guess we'll head down here, because this is where the other trap is. Yeah, we'll just run right over it. This one.
This trap's not too hard to spot, once you know what to look for. Keeping it hidden has not been a priority for the cryptozoologist. Behind you, the ruins of a residential building loom over the reeds. They whisper amongst themselves. Confidentially, snowflakes cling to their shivering stems. When this district was booming, the reeds were kept at bay. Nothing obscured the freshly painted facades. Nowhere for drunks and adventurous teenagers to hide. Now only the wind blows.
Alright, let's check the trap.
Nothing but locusts in this trap as well. Definitely no cryptozoological monstrosity.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we're done.
His face is red from the cold sea air. He crouches to catch his breath. Getting tired?
No, I'm fine. I didn't mean to complain, it's just...
He's short-winded. The sentence ends here. I've been doing a lot of running, I suppose. This could be the boardwalk, I guess. I think I can't go any further out that way. We've already done this check over here. What is this? Sign says entry deep bay or some Sunday friend. Hello again.
Always my...
Yeah, nothing else we can talk about with that guy. I mean, is it like... we get any closer to the edge or anything? A little stumped on this one. I'm sure we'll come across it. I don't know what it is about this game and me and this area, but like I have really, really struggled to get my proper bearings. On this.
This is the last of the traps. The one Morel just set. Checking it over, he said, is just a technicality. The reeds by the abandoned campsite sway and tremble while the snow falls all around. The later it gets, the colder. Remnants of the camp can still be seen in the sand. The fire that's gone out. You feel strange, somehow.
Reach for the trap.
The trap feels light and silent as you pick it up. Something is different here. No locusts.
Locusts.
No phasmid either, but still.
Look closer.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though. Unless you see one in there, I just see an empty trap.
The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others. Like someone or something picked the trap up and shook it before dropping it back down on the ground.
I get the feeling that someone or something may have messed with the trap.
Perhaps our cryptozoologists have competition in the form of an actual entomologist, or someone else is sabotaging them. I could present more theories, but then I would be taking this on as a case, which I'm not.
What if it was the fast?
Right. Anyway, that's for the cryptozoologists to figure out now. We are not cryptozoologists. We are cops.
A cold gust of air dries your sweaty face, and you look to the dark shadow, the felled building in the distance, drawing you to it. What a strange sensation. Once this is done, should you try to ask again?
Very
You've
interesting. I was very ready for it to be absolutely nothing, and it was just kind of a goofy, goofy quest. But yeah. Okay, we'll have to run back to the whirling then. I'm just gonna look at the quest one more time here. Again, I don't... So what is the island then? Check the island. Is there like a better... These are just the checks, right? These are just open checks. I feel like I can get to all the places that I need to go here. I'm a little confused on what it is that I am missing. Again, this is probably something where it's like, oh, I just missed something. Like there's another place that I missed to check on or something. Game is pretty vast. So is the island maybe where these folks are over here, perhaps? Look. This, I think, kind of quickly becomes Land's End eventually. And we can't go any further.
Hello again.
I already talked to those guys in there. I'm a little stumped on this. I mean, we've pretty much gone everywhere I could possibly go. Along the boardwalk that I'm aware of. The island, I mean, I don't know what the island could possibly be. That's different than what we've already seen here. Unless it's a location that I haven't been to yet. It's just another trap. We checked up here, I guess. Worst case, we'll just go to Morale and we'll hand that quest in and see what happens next. But obviously, the game really wants us to really wants us to kind of be over here, so I know we're like generally in the right spot. But yeah, it's such a tough one. Well, that's a good point. No rush. Yeah, it's not like people will be disappearing. Well, we'll pop in here and see what happens with this particular quest, and then I just wish there was like a slightly better map.
It's great to see you again, officer. My wife can't wait to thank you. Go on, talk to her.
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
I'm basically also a cryptozoologist.
I knew it.
I'm not surprised. It's already getting out of hand.
Well, in that case, sweetie, let me give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie, Mesk in origin. The pin is an antique, quite special to the cryptozoological community.
Kim's disappointment.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull with 8 eyes. You could ask her about this when you get the time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course, is more important.
They never told me that you,
Oh,
the past.
you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
Ramblings? Nonsense. Your description of the phasmid is the most precise I've ever heard.
darling, I didn't even get the size of it right.
You were a child, my dear. Really. It's extraordinary what you were able to describe. Now go on. Tell our friend about it. He's proven his interest in the field.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden...
Where and how old were you?
I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5 in Betancourt in the suburbs. My grandmother had a summer home there.
She'd just started forming memories. Real memories. Not the billowy haze of infanthood. Betancourt got bombed in the war. It used to be quite near, circa 20 kilometers from here.
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some antique toy. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds.
Did you follow it?
I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there knee-deep in mud, looking around me.
Where did you go? Don't go.
Then what?
I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly. But then I met Morel.
We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed report of the Insulindian phasmid I've ever heard. The sounds. She told me it hissed.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant for them.
It did, yes. Like reeds in a gust of wind.
The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white, like marble. It matched perfectly with what I know from other accounts. It was amazing. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession.
He looks at her with admiration, forgetting a wide smile on his face. You're on a date.
Our first, yes.
Its limbs are white.
Not all of them. There is some white coloration reported, along with beige, where the camouflage ends.
How big?
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case.
Maybe you imagine
How
it?
could she? Who imagines this? She didn't know about the phasmid. This is the main thing here, what makes it a confirmed sighting. She had no previous knowledge of the insect.
So she couldn't have made it up or imagined it.
That's true, yes. I'm almost certain neither my mother nor my grandmother knew of it. It was only when I started telling my story as a teenager that boys would tell me, Lena,
She lowers her voice, imitating a boy.
you trying to tell us you saw the Insulindian phasmid out there in those reeds? Get out of here. They just give me a cider and ruffle my hair and tell me to stop dreaming. But I saw it.
What do you think of this, Kim?
I thought it was a wonderful story, man.
Closes his notes and gives her a simple
But I
smile.
don't believe it. A child left unattended on a warm day. Children make up stories and then end up believing them.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So warm.
And she could get up and walk right into the reeds on her own, into the mud, anywhere.
You know, to hell with it. Let's have more cryptids.
Of course, officers. Is there a particular cryptid you two are interested in learning about?
Let's ask about the pin.
No. It's the cryptid.
The cryptid.
Oh, yes.
The small silvery skull shines between your fingers. Its beak sharp. Alright, what is this bird?
The eight-eyed teratorn, the largest flying avian ever discovered, with a wingspan of 11.5 meters. It was thought to have gone extinct 3,500 years ago. Some even doubted the fossils were real. A mutation, they said. Until...
Till.
Mutation? Huh. All of evolution is a mutation.
Until it was cited by renowned Gotvaldian explorer and naturalist Uwe Plattenkalk in 21.
This renown seems a bit dubious. Your own catalogue comes up completely empty. But, of course, you are not all-knowing.
Fire it
It
up.
happened on a botanical expedition into the vast and unexplored Oamrau Canyon in southeast Ilmara. Dr. Plattenkalk got separated from his group during a sandstorm.
Okay.
The
and-
world's largest canyon system, sweetie. It's a barren waste east of the Erg Desert. An ancient riverbed completely dried up.
What happened?
Alone in the blasted desert heat, the doctor wandered eastward, where man hasn't stepped foot in over 1,000 years. Since the fall of Pericarnassus, he was lost, without any navigation equipment and desperately low on water. After a day or two, he noticed a bird high in the noon sky. A great black bird. It seemed gargantuan. Every now and then, the bird would dive down to feed on an animal carcass somewhere on the horizon. But by the time Uwe got there, the teratorn had taken off already, and the carcass was picked clean. This happened many times.
So he followed it?
Yes, or rather, hunting. A bird that big has a lot of blood in it, and he was dying of thirst. For many days, Dr. Plattenkalk followed the teratorn until they reached a great canyon wall where the bird finally landed to rest. The professor climbed up there with a rock in his hand. He found the bird sleeping with his head tucked under its wing, a great black pile of feathers on the perch. So he approached, slowly squeezing the rock in his fist. Then the teratorn suddenly looked at him. He could see it had 8 eyes, 4 on either side of its skull, like a spider. And the man couldn't move. He was paralyzed, frozen into place with the rock in his hand. Whatever he did, he could not get closer to the bird.
Why?
The bird was controlling his mind. It kept him from approaching. He could step back. Every time he stepped forward, paralysis. Uwe spent 3 days trying until the bird flew away.
Pretty cool. How did he survive to tell the story?
The 8-eyed teratorn was indifferent to him, as long as he didn't get closer than 2 steps. It even let him feed on some carcasses up there, and the 2 unfertilized eggs it left behind.
Yeah.
Absolutely, sweetie. Cryptozoologists have been tracing it ever since, but Wamrau is vast, mysterious, and holds many secrets.
Modern radar telemetry shows great promise. We will confirm this one by the end of the decade, latest.
This one I liked. Not only does it have 8 eyes, and is a living fossil, and the largest bird ever to live, it also does mind control.
He's sincere. He likes the audacity of it.
Was that the last of it?
Sadly, yes. But there are numerous reports of 8-eyed bird skulls from Il Mara. And then there's the striking resemblance to the Pericarnassian imperial eagle, an ancient heraldic symbol that is hard to pass off as coincidence. The imperial eagle, too, had 8 eyes.
Very, very hard.
This one's very famous. Everyone knows it. People will be looking at that tie on you and thinking, that man is into cryptids. So, what else do you want to know?
Alright, that's enough of the cryptid talk for now.
Of course, dear.
So what is the bonus for this thing? Always like more clothes. Oh, it does look cool. Look at this thing. +1 Inland Empire, +1 Volition. Okay. Oh, it's a bolo tie. Oh, very cool. Okay. Okay, folks. Unfortunately, have to put a pin in it here. I know it was a bit of a short sesh today, but I got a little bit of a late start, unfortunately. Hopefully you understand. We'll get back to a more regular schedule once again on Thursday. But we did pretty good for what it is worth. I really need to open up the map one more time. I have to kind of figure out where these other 2 locations are, because bullet trace is on the boardwalk and island. So I'll have to do some digging on that, but maybe Fresh Eyes will help me out with that one. But yeah, that's where we'll put a pin in it for today.